HMS Challenger, a ship designed for a very special job. A ship that demands a crew with some very special qualities. Men who operate a surface vessel but can think like submariners. The Challenger is a diving support vessel. Her mission? To find, inspect, work on and/or recover objects on the seabed. We're on call night and day, through sunshine and storm, from the Arctic to the tropics, anywhere. And when they send for us, it's serious. Welcome aboard. See you in the briefing room. Challenger is a dynamically positioned vessel and can deploy 2 subsea systems in weather conditions up to sea state 5. One uses a towed unmanned submersible for deep seabed search and inspection. It's called TUMS and can work at depths up to 6,000 meters. The other is the Royal Navy Saturation Diving System. This system is designed to meet diving regulations resulting from experience gained in the North Sea over the last 10 years. Using this system, we can send a team of 3, a bellman and 2 divers, down to the seabed in a submersible compression chamber, a diving bell. In this program, we'll concentrate on saturation diving. Diving is a job of work like any other, except it's done in an extremely hostile environment. Down there, the diver is totally dependent on the vessel. The vessel must maintain station and supply his vital services. Any mistake in the ship's position or in the supply of anything from gas to hot water can kill. Challenger provides these important services through an umbilical cable which links the diver with the ship. Through the umbilical, we communicate with the divers. We supply them with the gas they breathe, the hot water that warms them, and the other services they require. The umbilical, through closed-circuit television and other recording devices, enables us to see live pictures of what's happening below and to receive continuous environmental reports and medical reports on the divers. All this information is constantly scanned by operators on watch in all control and support stations, who ensure correct conditions are maintained. It's this total backup by his shipmates that gives the man on the ocean floor the confidence he needs to do his job. Now, let's get to work. Preparation for getting a diver down to the worksite begins here, in the decompression chamber complex. This consists of gas storage, saturation control, communications and environmental control, and the decompression chambers where the divers live. Right, you are here on number 4 deck, gas storage. You could call this the lungs of the system, where helium and oxygen are stored and mixed to the correct ratios for the divers to breathe. This is saturation control, the system that manages the chamber complex. You see, what we're breathing right now is air, which sustains life on the surface. But down on the seabed, a different mix of gases is required: oxygen and helium. The ratios of those gases depends on the depth the diver works at. So to work in ocean depths, the diver must go through a process which alters the composition of gases in his bloodstream. This process is called saturation, and it takes place in a decompression chamber. Well, not exactly home sweet home, but while they're in saturation, the divers have all the basic necessities of life, and we do our best to make them comfortable until they're ready to dive. And of course, they're not cut off completely. We can communicate with them. While divers are in saturation, another facility, environmental control, monitors temperature, humidity, and gas in the chamber. This system removes carbon dioxide and humidity exhaled by the divers and maintains the correct gas mixture in the chamber. When we're ready to begin diving, dive control takes over.
Sat control, dive control.
Sat control.
Are you ready to transfer the divers to the SCC?
Ready to transfer. Transferring divers now.
This is the route they'll take. From the decompression chamber, they'll make their way through manlock 3 to the transfer chamber, and then to the diving bell. Remember, the divers cannot enter our normal atmosphere again until they undergo decompression. Otherwise, they'll suffer bends. Until then, they exist in a deep pressure state. If something unforeseen happens, say we run aground, any incident that endangers life, the divers cannot suddenly be taken out of that pressurized environment. That's why they're provided with this SPHL, a self-propelled hyperbaric lifeboat, which they can reach through the escape trunking. It's a self-sufficient craft with a pressurized chamber in which the divers survive until they can undergo proper decompression. This is dive control on O1 deck. From here, saturation diving operations are controlled by a support team led by a dive supervisor. This console monitors all the activities of the SCC and the divers: gas supply and recovery, pressurization, communications, and divers' hot water. Divers' hot water is worth a special mention. This is something more than domestic plumbing. We're talking about a system that supplies constant hot salt water for the bell and the divers during diving operations. You see, when the diver is in a saturated state, he is extremely sensitive to temperature. In fact, so sensitive, just a few chilling degrees can kill. So it's up to us to make sure the equipment that supplies that warmth never fails. A hydraulically powered trolley moves the bell to the transfer chamber. The divers enter the bell, and the bell is run back to position over the moon pool. The bell handling winch lifts the bell from the trolley. The trolley is moved clear, and the bell lowered down through the moon pool into the sea. Of course, lowering a bell to the bottom of the sea is a much more complex operation than that brief description suggests. In addition to the transfer trolley, there's the sinker weight winch, the umbilical reel winch, a strain winch, a heave compensator, and a cursor to guide the bell safely down through the moon pool. Once he's on the bottom, the diver's work begins. He could be welding, cutting, or inspecting. Any one of those jobs is going to need tools, power to drive those tools, and light, a great deal of light to work by. His tools are delivered by that basket, lowered over the side by the T-frame. Power for his hand tools is supplied by a hydraulic power pack via an umbilical. And the chandelier provides underwater lighting, carries TV cameras, through water communications, and sonar. The support services are equally important in fulfilling Challenger's missions. The engineers, who are responsible for the powered systems that drive Challenger, also provide power for all the complex gas and water distribution systems, monitoring, and communication systems and winches. Keeping an outfit like this happy and well-fed is tough. They're involved as much as anyone else in support of the men on the ocean worksite. As you can appreciate, every system on Challenger is important. They're all interdependent. But if I had to pick one and say, this is life or death, well, my choice would be dynamic positioning. This is a system designed to maintain Challenger's position directly over the seabed worksite. In fine conditions, as long as everyone on watch is vigilant and alert, any problems can be easily handled. However, when there's a swell, even a gentle breeze, and a problem occurs, Challenger can be driven off position. Of course, the diver is at work on the seabed. Now think about it. It puts a strain on the diver's excursion umbilical, and as tough as that cable is, it could snap. When corrective action is required, the dynamic position system responds and activates Challenger's propellers and thrusters. And we're back on station. Finally, 2 short reminders. A chap I know said that sometimes being on watch is like goalkeeping for a really good football team. The defense is so tight, you get long stretches with nothing to do. Then just when you relax and lose concentration, wham, there's a ball coming straight at you.
3.3 kV.
You have a split second to react, and you have to get it right first time. That's why keeping concentration and knowing your job so well you do it automatically are so important.
Machinery breakdown, Shift engineer MCR, 3.3 kV earth fault. Chief pigeon MCR.
The final point is this. Whatever your duty on Challenger, from galley boy to captain, you owe the man on the seabed your complete professionalism, attention, and concentration. You are at the other end of his lifeline.